A surge in the sale of pesticides as Barbadians respond to the millipede infestation. The Constitution Reform Commission discusses its recommendations with the public. More judges in the High Court after a swearing-in ceremony this morning. And in sports, Settlers on a two-match losing streak in the BIM 10.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC Newsnight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Pearson Bowen. The millipede infestation plaguing many homes and other properties has driven Barbadians in droves to hardware and other stores in search of pesticide solutions to the problem. And if the surge in sales continues, there may be a shortage of the recommended products to keep the millipedes at bay. Trevor Thorpe has that story.
Barbadians are waging an all-out war on the invasive red millipedes now prevalent on the island. All across Barbados, the response has been the same. People looking for pesticides to deal with these creepy crawlies. And the increase in sales has created an unprecedented demand for the products recommended to control the pests, which could result in shortages. Assistant Store Manager at Carter's General Stores in Wildy, Chad Hadley, has been speaking with CBC News about their experience.
We're down in our pesticide, herbicide department with regards to these red millipedes, red Christmas worms, what people are calling for it. We have noticed an increase in volume and sales for the particular product, especially Propoxur and our 7 powders, which are working very well to kill these red millipedes.
And the assistant store manager said the high demand keeps them restocking.
We just got in some here to fill back up the shelf. The sales clerk, Tiffany, is busy packing it away and been helping customers daily, hourly with the questions that they've been having.
And the findings were the same in the east of the island, as store manager at Ace H&B Hardware in 6 Roads, Algernon Roach, explained.
In terms of specific requests, there was a lot of requests for things like Demon and Bison and those kind of products. There was a lot of demand for those. But Terminex and those kind of things, for spraying around the houses and so on. Those are a few of the items that customers would have been asking for in recent times, more so than before.
The retailers tell CBC News they are keeping a keen eye on supplies in light of the heavy demand for pesticides. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
Meanwhile, Barbadians are being told that the management of an invasive species such as the red millipede should be everyone's business and not left to government ministries. That's the view of Director of the Center for Biosecurity Studies at the University of the West Indies, Dr. Kirk Douglas.
Managing invasive alien species is not only the remit of the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, or even the Ministry of the Environment and National Beautification, but it is our collective duty to be mindful and to be aware and vigilant, because those ministries, they have limitations in how many persons work there, and they can't be everywhere all over Barbados all at the same time. So collectively, where you have citizen science, where people are vigilant and reporting on what they see, then the experts can come in and then give an assessment of what can be done.
And Barbadians are being advised that the secretion from the red millipede can cause mild to severe irritation of the skin. According to President of the Barbados Association of Medical Practitioners, Dr. Linda Williams, the reaction is not life-threatening or dangerous, and those affected just have to know how to handle it. She tells CBC News the first aid and immediate action someone affected by the secretion of a red millipede should take is to rinse the area immediately.
Apply a cool cloth, and then you can apply a topical antihistamine, or if the itching is severe around the area, you may also want to consider an over-the-counter dose of antihistamine, or even a painkiller if you're experiencing pain in the area. It's self-limiting. The area will recover in about 2 or so hours. Try not to scratch, as that tends to make the reaction worse.
However, Dr. Williams warns that if the toxin accidentally enters the eye or gets on the lips, there is a possibility of a more severe type of reaction. She says in those cases, people should seek medical attention if the over-the-counter medication does not work. Tonight to put measures in place to allow for the proposed new constitution to undergo periodic reviews going forward. That suggestion is among several which have been outlined in a report submitted to government by the Constitution Reform Commission. Commission Chairman, retired High Court Justice Christopher Blackman, shared some of the recommendations with the public during a meeting to formally present the report and draft Constitution of Barbados Bill 2024.
Institutions and offices that provide independent regulatory and oversight functions, such as the Electoral and Boundaries Commission, Human Rights Commissions, the Office of the Auditor General, the Integrity Commission, and the Ombudsman. And in this regard, the Commission strongly recommends that in each of these institutions that they be fully and properly staffed and outfitted to enable them to function effectively. In this regard, particularly, we wish to stress that the several service commissions should be fully operationalized and given their secretariat and not limp along as they currently do.
Moreover, the chairman says the commission recommends that the Public Service Appeal Board, which he says has been lingering on the statute books, should be operationalized and equipped to execute its function.
We do not want these institutions and bodies to be what I call trophy institutions, where you just tick a box and say you've had it, but then they don't give them the tools to do the work. We wish to recommend strengthening the financial accountability of the state, as well as the Office of the Auditor General. And we make recommendations for altering the Constitution and arrangements for the periodic review of the Constitution.
The report is also recommending that the President of Barbados should no longer be required to assent to legislation. A summary of the recommendations can be found in Chapter 12 of the report. The complement of judges in the High Court was increased this morning at a swearing-in ceremony at State House. Andrew Lowe reports.
Your Excellency, Chief Justice.
It was a proud moment for three outstanding legal minds as they took the oath of office in the presence of President of Barbados, Her Excellency, the Most Honorable Dame Sandra Mason. First to be sworn in as acting High Court Judge was Justice Donna Barb Agard. She was followed by Justices Dr. Corlita Barb Schaefer and Wanda Blair. Speaking to reporters afterwards, Justice Barb Agard described her elevation as acting judge as an amazing journey.
I have spent 33 plus years working in the government of Barbados, and I just want to take this opportunity to thank the Judicial Legal Services Commission for the opportunity to serve in the capacity of Judge of the High Court, and it is my intention to continue to put my best foot forward in the service of the government and the people of Barbados.
Justice Barb Schaefer says she's excited to get the opportunity to serve the government and people of Barbados.
Well, I hope to contribute to the solution, that is to make sure that there's no backlog on account of me. So I hope to contribute to efficiency in the judiciary to render justice where possible. So from my perspective, I hope to do some of the same things that I did as Master of the High Court, and that is to get out the orders and the approved draft orders within the week in which they're made, so that Council can take the necessary step.
Justice Blair also spoke of being excited and thankful for the opportunity to serve.
My entire career has been in the public service, and I'm looking forward to continue to serve it efficiently and to doing my best to address the backlog and to contribute to the administration of justice in Barbados.
Chief Justice Leslie Haynes is happy to have an increased complement of judges through which he hopes to reduce the backlog of cases.
Well, I'm very pleased that we have two new judges being sworn in. The acting judge, Justice Barb Agard, will in the future, in not too long future, become a permanent judge. I'm very happy because they are the stalwarts of the legal system. As you know, Justice Barb Agard has been the DPP. Justice Blair has acted about 3 years now in this position, and it's about time that she's sworn in as a permanent appointment. And that Justice Barb Schaefer has done excellent work as a master of the High Court, and she truly deserves her appointment. And I'm looking forward to working with each of them and to improving the efficiency of the administration of justice, now that we have a nearly full complement of judges.
Andrew Lowe, CBC News.
We'll take a break here, but coming up, contrary to a viral social media message, there is no unusual upsurge in respiratory illnesses. There is no upsurge in respiratory illnesses outside of the norm for the season. That's according to Managing Director of Urgent Care Barbados, Dr. Bandele Magics. He was responding to questions regarding a post on social media warning of an upsurge in respiratory illnesses, pneumonia and flu A and B.
Particular forward that's being circulating, mentioning urgent care, but it's not attributed to us. So it mentioned that and urgent care, which is not, we are Urgent Care Barbados. So firstly, that's not a post that was generated by us. We haven't seen any sort of uptick in flu-like illnesses beyond what is normally in period over the last month or two. So certainly I can't say that we've had a surge of these types of illnesses over the last few weeks. So what the CMO would have mentioned is certainly true. We should continue to take the precautions that he would have recommended. But there's certainly no need to panic, and we haven't seen any upsurge in any surge in cases at urgent care for the last few weeks.
Further, Dr. Magics says there are no extra precautions to be taken outside of the usual health hygiene heading back into school.
So nothing extra other than what we would normally recommend, which is good hand washing to prevent the spread of these illnesses from person to person, and certainly keeping your mouth covered when you're coughing. Wearing masks is certainly optional, as would have been mentioned by the CMO. But apart from that, there's no reason to panic at this stage, and there's no reason to do anything extra, as was suggested by the post.
Within the next 7 days, the Barbados Museum and Historical Society will try to get a greater understanding of the Newton Burial Ground. This announcement comes from Deputy Director at the Barbados Museum and Historical Society, Kevin Farmer. He was speaking at an event entitled Ancestral Voices from the Newton Burial Ground. That event was held at Bajan Art Forms in Pelican Village, where he stated that a specialist is in the country to examine the burial ground.
In that space right now, River Tamarind has grown up, and a lot of savanna grass. We've had to debush it somewhat so that we can actually walk through and to see what's there. The equipment goes 2 meters below the ground. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to physically go into the ground. I wouldn't want to do that at this stage. There are no pressing questions archaeologically that warrants us going into the ground anymore. We can do the non-invasives to find out what's there and then seek to protect it.
Mr. Farmer also says there's a National Heritage District in the works from the government.
Government has spoken about a heritage district, so there are quite a number of buildings that they want to place in the precincts of the estate. And what we're advocating for and what we've gotten this time around is that where some of those buildings are going, we can get to do that work. Yeah, let me just leave that there for now. But we need robust legislation. We need it enforced. I dare say we need to teach history in our schools again.
A workers' union says there is an urgent need for companies to prioritize employee safety. The call from General Secretary of the Barbados Workers' Union, Tony Moore. She was speaking following reports of a shooting incident this morning which left a KFC worker and the driver tasked with shuttling workers home injured.
During the past 12 months, we have written to KFC no fewer than 7 times, urging them to implement a safe and reliable commute system after work when public transport is no longer available. These appeals have been ignored, and now we are seeing the devastating consequences. It is unacceptable in the first place that suitable transportation is not made available to avoid workers having to wait for hours after the shift has ended for delivery drivers to complete their routes, leaving workers vulnerable at a precarious hour. This not only puts them at risk, but also reduces their time to rest and to be with their families. I know that some may be thinking that they don't have to wait, but the alternative when public transport is not available often is paid private transport, which often exceeds the earnings for the last shift worked by too many KFC employees.
Well, the Barbados Police Service is carrying out investigations into that attack on those KFC workers, which occurred at South District St. George in the wee hours of this morning. 2 people, a 36-year-old man who was contracted as the driver of the shuttle of employees, and a 53-year-old woman, an employee of the establishment, were shot multiple times. A statement issued by the police says the shooter, a man, drove a white motor car. The victims were subsequently taken to the hospital by ambulance. Now, the police are asking anyone who can provide information that can assist with these investigations to call Police Emergency 211 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-8477. Well, a group of tourists had a frightening encounter today when the taxi they were traveling in suddenly caught fire. That incident happened on the Arrow-Barrow Highway just after midday. Joe Carvin, one of the passengers, hailed the Barbados Fire Service for their swift response.
First time on the island, I want to thank the Barbados Fire Department for a great effort to save us and the community. My good friend Mama Nikki was the one that brought our attention that there was smoke in the car. Then we realized the fire. The driver, Richard, was absolutely fantastic. Got us out of the car, got us to safety.
In minutes, there was fire. He tried everything. He tried the extinguisher to try to get it out.
The fire, the truck blew up and was huge flames of fire. So I want to thank my good friends from Barbados for all the hospitality, the attention. Everything worked out well. So now we have a story to tell at home.
Well, one fire tender led by Fire Officer Christopher Corbin from the Bridgetown Fire Service responded to the incident.
We got a call for a car fire in the Lake of Barbados from boat area. When we arrived on scene, we saw one ZN taxi fully alight. There were no occupants inside of the vehicle. We utilized 2 or 3 decks from water tender to extinguish the fire. No persons were injured, and the scene would have been handed over to the police where they would further do their investigation.
Well, joining us this evening with Sports Night is Damien Best. Damien, good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you, Pearson. Good evening to our viewers and listeners. Some cricket news first up. Defending champions Settlers have now lost 2 games in a row as they went down to Guardians today in the BIM 10 tournament at Windward. Guardians batted first and posted 105 for 4 from their 10 overs. Captain and player of the match, Roshan Primus, top scored with 46. That included 3 4s and 5 6s. Settlers were restricted to 81 for 9 to lose by 24 runs. Kevin Wickham made 25, while Aaron Daly took 3 for 9 and Ryshawn Williams 3 for 12. The result still leaves Settlers in first place on 20 points, while Guardians are 4th on 16. Meanwhile, Pelicans have moved into second spot after they defeated Warriors in the other match of the doubleheader. Batting first, Warriors were kept to just 75 for 6, with player of the match Shimar Holder taking 2 for 10. Pelicans replied with 76 for 8 to win by 2 wickets. Neymar Bolden top scored with 19 off 6 deliveries. That included 3 6s, while Ramon Simmons took 3 for 5. Pelicans and Warriors are both on 20 points with Settlers. Pelicans have the second best net run rate, and both teams have a game in hand on the leaders. Meanwhile, the organizers of BIM 10 have plans on expanding the competition. Tournament director Clint St. Hill says, while the possibilities are endless, they're looking at attracting foreign players.
potentially down the road, we could potentially have some overseas players, regional players, international players coming in and being a part of the tournament. I think once again that would be tremendous in terms of blending those players with our local talent. But yeah, our product is really good and has endless possibilities.
More cricket news. Mark's Auto Spares Bel Air Stars got off to a winning start on the opening night of the inaugural ANA Auto Parts Fusion Boutique Champion of Champions T20 Tape Ball Tournament. Playing at the Weymouth Police Sports Club, the Stars chased down 97 to defeat the Blazers by 3 wickets. Ashley Nurse led with 22, while Miguel Cummins had 3 for 14 and Ronald Bourne 3 for 36 in a losing effort. Opening night of the Champion of Champions Tape Ball Tournament, Acting Minister of Sports Corey Lane taking first knock to signal the start of the competition. BCA's Manager of Marketing and Communications, Stephen Leslie, trapping him LBW in everyone's book. But Minister Lane sees it otherwise. Signal changes to 6 runs. Good fun though. Anyway, down to the serious business now. Blazers batting first against Bel Air Stars. Problems in the Blazers camp early. Shamari Gittins looking to work this one into the leg side and caught by Shaquan Glasgow on his way for a duck. Wicket to Jamar Eiffel. It's 1 for 1. Sadrian Ward into the attack from the opposite end in the slot. Neymar Bolden says thank you. 4 down the ground. We had lift off the very next ball as well. Bolden admires his artistry. 6 runs. But Ward would have the last laugh. Bolden caught and bowled for 13. Blazers 20 for 2. Opener Jazz Griffith looking to rescue the situation. Adds some flair to the drive past the extra cover fielder for 4. Neil Brown showed good support. Short and Desmond Currency whip through the mid-wicket region with disdain. Shaquille Turney into the attack. Brown struck on the kneecap. LBW for 12. 68 for 3 after 8 overs. The wheels fell off the wagon when Ashley Nurse, razor sharp with the gloves, had Javon Grosvenor stumped for a well-played 38. 70 for 4. Then it was 71 for 5 when Joshua Morris was caught by Nurse for just 2. Didn't know much about it. Diego Stewart was in and out, facing just 4 deliveries. LBW to Turney, who is over the moon, gets rid of the skipper. 72 for 6. The boundaries dried up for a couple of overs. Then Ian Boyce turned on the tap. A full toss from Turney, rightfully dealt with. Not much fireworks from that position. The bowlers having their way as Blazers lost 4 more wickets to be all out for 96 in 15.2 overs. Grosvenor finished with the outstanding figures of 4 for 6. Bel Air Stars in response off to a flare. Ronald Bourne roughed up by Jaran Jones. 3 boundaries in the second over, 2 of which were through the cover region. But alas, Bourne's short pitch deliveries yielded results. Jones, a happy hooker. Griffith comes off the boundary and takes the catch. Jones departs for 14, 18 for 1. The new man, Sadrian Ward, in and out like last month's salary. LBW to Miguel Cummins for a duck, 20 for 2. 3 runs later, it was 23 for 3. Alcindor Holder, leading edge, caught by Neil Brown for 1. Wicket to Bourne. Ashley Nurse in next. That's meat and drink. Travels over mid-wicket for a maximum. Nurse, a wealth of experience, looking to finish this one in a hurry. 4 runs this time along the carpet. Right-hander reached 22. Then a big appeal for LBW from Joshua Morris was approved by the umpire. Nurse gone, 63 for 4. No need to panic. Jamar Eiffel with a lusty blow down the ground, out the middle of the bat, 6. Eiffel seeing it big at both ends, deposits Diego Stewart over the ropes, moves to 15. Glasgow, who was really playing the supportive role, was the 5th wicket to fall, giving Joshua Morris catching practice. Cummins strikes again, 91 for 5. In fact, he had 2 in the over. Jatario Prescott, clean ball for a duck, beaten for pace, 91 for 6. But the Stars, with overs in hand, needed just 3 runs for victory. And despite losing another wicket, that of Eiffel for 20, they would complete the job thanks to 4 wides from Bourne to finish on 100 for 7 in 13 overs and 4 balls, winning by 3 wickets. And that is the first half in sports. Pearson, I'll be back a bit later on.
Thank you, Damien. We're coming back too, but with the business report. In business now, a multi-year membership program will be rolled out by the Barbados Association of Retired Persons next week. President Marlin Rice Bowen says it is in response to calls from members and is also part of the organization's 30th anniversary celebrations.
3 decades is a milestone for any organization. To be able to meet the needs of members amidst economic and social changes, both local and global, is a testament to the vision and hard work of our founders back in 1995. The 3-year membership fee is $195 to join and $185 to renew, while the 2-year membership fee is $135 to join and $125 to renew. The multi-year membership is an option, and it's important that members know that we are still offering yearly membership at $65 for renewal or $75 for new members.
Time now for tonight's trading report.
In Jamaica, Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited, with 4,820,096 units, was the volume leader, followed by Wigton Energy Limited and Sagicor Select Funds Limited Financial. In Trinidad and Tobago, NCB Financial Group Limited was the volume leader, with 151,266 shares changing hands for a value of Trinidad and Tobago $360,720.52, followed by Grace Kennedy Limited. And here in Barbados, Epley Caribbean Property Fund Development Fund was the volume leader, trading 8,559 shares at Barbados 14 cents each. And they were followed by Insurance Corporation of Barbados Limited and Goddard Enterprises Limited.
That's our business report. The weather is next. Let's turn our attention now to the weather as we're joined by Carrie-Ann O'Neill. Carrie-Ann, good evening.
Good evening to you, Pearson, and good evening, everyone. Well, today in Barbados, a trough system maintained occasionally cloudy skies along with some showers. The winds are quite gusty. They're peaking up to 33 knots, and convergence maintained some showers across the Guianas. Now, the maximum temperature today was 29 degrees Celsius, the minimum 23 degrees. At present, the temperature stands at 26 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity, 83%. The winds, they're coming in from the east-southeast. We take a look now at some atmospheric conditions across the region, where the temperatures are ranging from 24 to 27 degrees Celsius. The humidity shows moisture is building across a number of the islands, and the winds, they are generally moderate across the region. We take a look now at our satellite feed, where a trough system maintained occasionally cloudy skies along with showers here in Barbados. We had up to 6.8 millimeters of rainfall. Meanwhile, the winds, they are moderate across most of the islands. For us here in Barbados, they are gusty and they are up to 33 knots. Now, for the seas, at this time, they're moderate in open water with swells now peaking at 2.5 meters. We are urging small craft operators as well as sea bathers to exercise caution. Later on tonight, the trough system will maintain those clouds that we saw just now drifting across the island. As a result, we can expect mostly cloudy skies along with a few clear breaks and some showers. Further south, convergence maintained showers across the Guianas. Over now in the Western Caribbean, confluence there maintained showers across Hispaniola as well as Puerto Rico. We move now to the forecast, where the sun is expected to rise at 6:23 and will set at 5:46. I can tell you that the first high tide, that's expected at 9:27 in the morning, and the first low, that will be at 2:45 in the early morning. Now, those seas, they are moderate in open water with swells now peaking at 2.5 meters. We are urging small craft operators as well as sea bathers to exercise caution. The winds coming in from the east, they're peaking at 35 kilometers per hour. For us here in Barbados tonight, that trough system will maintain mostly cloudy skies along with clear breaks and some showers. And over the next 3 days, a mix of sunshine, clouds, and showers can be expected.
Let's get back over to Damien Best for more sports. Damien.
Thanks so much, Pearson. Well, the Delisle Bradshaw St. Michael Southeast football tournament is back. As we hear from CBC's Anne-Marie Burke, it kicked off over the weekend.
With 9 teams registered and the action kicking off with a doubleheader at the Parkinson Resource Centre and playing field over the weekend, the Delisle Bradshaw Inter-Community Football Tournament is in full swing after being in the pipeline for the past 3 years. And while the focus will be on the field of play, Member of Parliament for the area, Honourable Santia Bradshaw, says its real mandate is to be a vehicle to create a sense of unity in that community. And naming the tournament after her father, former Minister and MP for the area, Delisle Bradshaw, is fitting, as in his tenure, he sought to use sport as a vehicle to bring the community together.
I believe this tournament, the Delisle Bradshaw tournament, will bring together the Pine yet again and the whole of St. Michael's Southeast. And we're doing it tonight and this entire tournament in Dad's name because he has been the patron of football. He's been the patron of all of the sports across the community of St. Michael's Southeast. I have only had the baton passed on to me and been able to represent not only the Youth Soccer Academy but also the Pineland, the academics team rather, as well, where we were able to bring home the 100 grand a few years ago. 2011, thank you, Brim. And we were able to bring success to this constituency because of all of you. The Pine and the entire St. Michael Southeast operated as a unit. And as Heavy says, that is what this is really about tonight, being able to bring this community back together.
To see the tournament named in his honour is heartening for Mr. Bradshaw, who would like to see it replicated in other communities.
I am particularly heartened this evening to see such a gathering. Peaceful, everybody enjoying themselves, and that is one of the other reasons, because in recent times there have been this talk about violence, and I believe as an elder statesman that I could do something to assist the country. I have always lived with the community, and I feel that I, as a senior person, should go back to the community and remind them of what used to happen, the integration, the love and affection and the community spirit. And I'm happy to see this, and I hope that this could be duplicated across Barbados.
A joint effort of the Pinelands Football Club, Pinelands Youth Soccer Academy and the Make a Difference Foundation. Up for grabs for the winning team will be a cash prize of $5,000, with second and third place receiving $2,500 and $1,000 respectively. Anne-Marie Burke, CBC Sports.
Thanks, Anne-Marie. Finally, some basketball news. The OKC Thunder have won a franchise record 15th game in a row as they defeated the Boston Celtics last night in what was a possible preview of the NBA Finals. And that's it for sports tonight. Pearson, it's back over to you.
Damon, thanks. Have a good night, sir.
Yep.
And we're right back after this break. Minding Your Business is next.
Minding Your Business. On this edition of Minding Your Business, you've seen us feature the products from both her Happy Treats and Bake You Happy businesses over the years. But as some of you may already know, Talicia Lewis suffered a major loss on December 4th last year when her home and businesses were destroyed by fire. She also shared that home with her father, son, and daughter. Well, like the proverbial phoenix rising from the ashes, exactly 1 month after the fire, we visited her at her temporary home, and not only have they started to pick up the pieces, but resilient Talicia has also started to take some much-needed first steps to restarting her businesses. One encouraging victory came when she discovered that at least 2 of the pieces of equipment critical to her popsicle business miraculously survived the fire and are still functional. It's not even close to the output she had gotten accustomed to before the fire, but she says it's a very small but important step in the recovery process. She made the comment as she prepared some popsicles for sale at a small event.
We have a strong 1%, but at least it can only get to 100 from there. You know, it's a good starting point. We were able to recover 3 of the 6 popsicle molds that we had. Some of them were completely charged, so there was no one coming back for those. But again, that is still a win. It's still something that we can work with to push forward.
Talicia adds the restart of both businesses is the ultimate goal.
Your intention is to restart both businesses?
I have never, truly told, I haven't canceled my Christmas orders. So I did do some cakes and stuff over the Christmas period. We only tested this machine on the 2nd to confirm that it was working. This is our first start for popsicles since the fire happened.
And she says her clients and customers from before the fire have recommitted themselves in the face of the tragedy.
My people are definitely rooting for us. They haven't left my side. And like I told them, just give me some time, I got you. You know, we can figure out product for January. So they're happy and they're patient, and I'm thankful for that, because it means it's easy for them to be like, they can find another vendor. But so far they stay true to us, and I truly appreciate it.
And speaking of support, ever since the news of the fire, she says she has been in awe of the public support.
I want to say that Barbados, top tier, amazing. They have definitely rallied around us. Even from the random hugs when they see me in public, to just letting me know, I'll be rooting for you, don't give up, your strength is amazing. Those who would have given me clothes, those who would have sent cash, those who, put something on the Carter's cash card when we start back, those who are just asking, like, when you rebuild this, let us know, we want to help. To me, that has been so overwhelming and so heartwarming. And on top of that, I also want to thank the government of Barbados. Too often we can find a reason to complain about what the government isn't doing, and the government has been a tremendous support in this season for us.
Now, due to time constraints, there's a very important part of Talicia's story that we don't have enough time to address in this episode. But in the next edition of Minding Your Business, Talicia explains why her initial hopes of rebuilding at the Mahika Gap location she called home for more than 40 years have been dealt a severe blow, and why they will now be looking to rebuild at a completely different location. In the meantime, if you'd like to make a contribution to the recovery effort of this small businesswoman and her family, here are some ways you can do that. If you're using First Pay, it's 246-826-2786. Sajgor Bank Savings Account number 208-806-0177. FCIB Sheraton Checking, it's 100-121-3723. There's also a GoFundMe that has been set up on behalf of the family. And if you're donating building materials, you can do so at Carter's and Rayside Construction in the name of Talicia Lewis. So until next time, I'm Ryan Broom, and this has been Minding Your Business. Minding Your Business.
And that's our time tonight. Thank you for yours. I'm Pearson Bowen. For the crew, to all of you, good night. By God's will, we will see you tomorrow.